Engine Room Chat. Welcome from myself, Dave, on Narrowboat Changing Pace. In top right, we've got Jeff from Narrowboat Credit Check.
Credit limit.
Bottom left, we've got Saul from Barely Floating on Narrowboat Laura. And finally, Glenn from Narrowboat Teal. New Narrowboat. And a life full of mating. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
So we'll do the usual thing. We'll answer any questions as they come up. Say hello to anybody that's on who wants to say hello, and we'll just go around houses, see what we've been doing in his respective boats up to now this last month. So we'll start off with Jeff. Have you been anywhere, Jeff?
Yeah, we went out. I don't know how long ago it was. A few weeks back. Up to Marsworth and back. We've been on it all weekend. We've had to give it a spring clean, had all the carpets out. I hoovered under the engine, got that liquid out again. I still don't know what it is. It's either the stuff out the heating or automatic transmission oil. It's like milky red when you hoover it out. But it looks a lot. Well, actually, when you hoovered it out, I would say it's about a point, if that. It looks worse than what it is, I think. So I'll stop worrying about it. I just can't. I don't know what it is. You really don't. Nothing needs topping up. Apart from I had to bleed one of the radiators this weekend. Let some air out, and I topped the header tank back up. But apart from that, engine oil, gearbox oil, everything's fine. So I don't know what it is. I really don't. It's always done it since we bought it. It was like it when we bought it, and I asked Wilton to have a look at it. They said they weren't going to look at it, and it comes and it goes, and then it just comes back again. I don't know what it is. It's weird. It's like an oil. I don't know what it is. But hey, when you do clean it out, the bottom of the boat where it is, it stops it getting rusted. There's no rust there, so it says obviously oil somewhere.
So it's oil, yeah. It's obviously an oil of some description.
But where it's coming from, I have no idea. To say I don't top anything up.
No.
Weird. It's absolutely
I think
weird.
they're the most frustrating ones, aren't they? When you can't see where it's coming from, you can't do all about it.
I'll do nothing about it, so come find it. I've tried all sorts. I've cleaned it out. I've wiped it out, sponged it all out clean, put cardboard down. Won't do it while you're there, and then all of a sudden you come back, it's flooded again. It's weird. But hey ho, we just live with it.
Is that first time here,
Huh?
Welcome, Alan.
So yeah, apart from that, cut the grass and tidied up the mooring. That's basically it, really. I've been doing other things on scooters and motorbikes and stuff like that on vans.
And vans,
Yeah, the van, the engine's going in. Well, he was putting it in today, but we've got some problems, so it'll be done by the end of the week anyway. So yeah, that's
just
about
me.
it.
No.
Being a bit quicker than my van.
A bit quicker in your van, yeah.
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 I think I wish I'd have done that. Put a new engine in.
Yeah.
I think it'd have been a lot quicker and simpler, but there you go.
You do
Hindsight.
things.
Yeah, so quite a brief there from Jeff, so we'll go down to Glenn. So
got you. He crashed out a little bit there, but I guess you just asked what I've been up to. Basically, obviously, we was meant to pick the boat up on, and we had a phone call on, I think it was Wednesday, to say that the new alternator, which I had seen, I don't know, I found out a little bit more about the engine in our boat. It's called, is it a Nanny? Nanni? And that's the manufacturer of it, or whoever, married. It's only a 2-cylinder, it's a tiny little thing. But it's called a Nanny anyway. And you couldn't get the original alternator for it. And the guy said to me when we did it, he said, when he sent me over the quote, he said, do you want to put a new alternator on it, or do you want to refurb the other one? He said, I recommend a new one. So I said, of course. I said, let's just put a new one on it. let's cut to the chase and get a new one. It was 175 quid, and the only one he could find with the same brackets, which was more powerful, was a Volvo Penta alternator, which apparently is right, because I've looked on eBay, and when they list the nanny ones, it says Volvo Penta in there as well. But I think he went for I think it's only like a little 60 or 70 amp one, and I think it was like 100 amp or 90 amp or something like that. And basically, the bracket was perfectly right, but the alternator was too big, wouldn't fit in the gap. He said he could have got it to fit by chopping the brackets and stuff on the engine, but I was just like, he said, I'm not happy about doing that, which is fair enough. So he's had to send the other one off for a refurb. Should be back this week. New batteries have been fitted. He's done a bit of wiring that needed doing. He's serviced it. He's done all the filters. He's pumped the bilge out for me because there was some water in there. It was just water as well. It's just literally from the rainwater, which has leaked through the knackered deck board. So yeah, there's a few things I need to change on it as well. I noticed when I was looking at the what's it called? The inverter. It's a cheap Chinese inverter that's on it, 2,000 watt. I think I said last month it's way too big for the boat. I mean, it's got 2 leisure batteries. That would probably last half an hour. If you crank that up without the engine running, I'd imagine it would just kill it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace that with like 1,000 amp Sterling or something like that. I've got a new Victron solar controller to go in. I've got a new Sterling charger to go in. So I'm going to do all the mains. I mean, obviously people will see that on our video, but she should be ready this week, later this week. We can't pick her up now to Easter. So it'll be Easter. And obviously the only other thing was the roof, which I said about the rust rings. I've got loads of these little rust rings. They're some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller, some of them look like coal bag size, and the paint's just like exploded out from them. The metal's really good around the edges, but not the actual centre bit where the rust is proper gone. So I'm going to get that treated as soon as I want. Apart from that, the paintwork's not that bad. Just the roof. Just the roof. So that's go on.
Yeah, I just want to say hello to Sandra Preston and Northern Narraboters and Full Canal and Lee from from Anfield Road Layout. Thank you for commenting and being aboard. Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, Sandra Preston, I think, lives in the States. I think that's that's the lady that lives in the States that knows Lisa's mum. So she's listening in from all the way from the States. Yeah.
Good. I think with them rust rings, I think they'll just be stuff that's been sat on roof for an inordinate length of time, and it'll have just corroded where water sits around bottom of the ring. It'll have just got through paint and corroded it. That's why it's okay either side and inside of it. A lot of people have. I think it's when if primer isn't bonded to steel properly, it just gets underneath paint and bubbles up in that area.
Yeah, I'm finding.
Yeah, it looks proper like a little explosion. It was like it just looked, all the leaves.
A lot of videos about
all the way around like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You are, Saul?
I was looking at a lot of videos about that, and I noticed a lot of the narrowboats. The steel's really shiny, like a really shiny steel, and that's not great for paint to adhere to. Needs a bit of a key to,
Yeah.
Funny you should say that, because the steel that's underneath the edges does look really, really shiny around the edges. Yeah. When you lift the paint and get to the good steel, it does look proper shiny, even though it's been, as I say, this boat hasn't been touched since 2017. So it's 5 years. Whatever was sitting on the top of it hasn't been moved. I mean, that's the 5 years that I know. So but I don't think it moved from its mooring very often at all. So there's no hour counter on it, so I don't know how many hours it's done.
Yeah. The mine's the same. If I strip the paint off my roof, it's dead shiny. So I'm having to rough it up. Yeah. So it's just not got enough profile for it to really stick to.
Really stick.
Yeah.
That's why they set a shot blast them. So it gives metal a key for paint to grab onto.
Just gives it a little sort of edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of, because it almost does look like shiny. I mean, I can't see any grey of left of any primer. So, sorry, you always get when they pop up at the bottom. I always like read them, but yeah. But hi Janet. Anyway,
glad you've got to see us today. If anybody watching's got any questions they want to ask, please feel free. We'll do our best to answer any questions. If you've done Glenn, we'll move on to Saul.
Yeah. I just saw that. You see that message from Foo Canal?
Yeah.
I didn't want to advertise Saul's beard.
No.
6 months. Oh, this. 6 months.
Yeah. No, I'm done. I mean, hopefully, as I say, Easter we'll be moving her, and it'll all be great. And then I can give her a clean, and then see where we are. And the only other thing is we're actually going straight onto our mooring now. We're not stopping at Gate, and the spots become available. So we haven't got to plot up at Gate and wait, which is going to save us a few quid. We can go straight in. I've already been down and looked at the schedule for getting the boat out of the water, and from May onwards, I'll be able to take her out anytime in May, and book it. So I think it's 50 quid to pull her out. So that's pretty good, isn't it? And that includes a week out of water.
I wish it only cost me 50 quid to get ours pulled out when we black tires.
Yeah, 50 quid, and that includes putting it back in as well.
Does it? Bloody hell.
Yeah.
So you'll have to excuse me, I'm just plugging my phone in before it goes dead.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Before Dave gets thrown into darkness.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so that's me done anyway. But there'll be more as and when I proper get on board and get to. I mean, I've done loads of little jobs, but they're just boring, like putting new glass in the fire and stuff like that. But I've done all that now. So anyway, that's me. I'm done.
Are you looking forward to it, Glenn? Are you looking forward to being back?
I am absolutely. I'm glad it's actually going to be Easter because we're going to have a little bit more time. And we're going to have a couple more days to do it, and not have to rush so much. Not that we're going to have to rush. We had 4 days, and the bloke in the marina reckons we could do it 2.5. But I mean, if we got 4 days, and plus we were going to Gate, and obviously Gate to Milton Keynes is a little bit longer, but not a lot, probably half a day. So I'm looking forward to the journey. Hopefully, there's no other stress involved in it, and it all goes all right. And it's why I had the engine all serviced, and that I'm probably going to take up RCR cover just for a little while, I think, as well, just in case.
Yeah.
Because obviously, not knowing the boat, I don't know how. I've only ever seen it go backwards and forwards. Literally 2 foot forward, 2 foot back. So I'm taking a bit of a gamble. It'll be all right.
Good.
It's insured.
It's insured. It'll be fine.
You worry too much.
Yeah.
So, Saul, what have you been up to, mate? Anything?
It's been a busy old month on the maintenance side. I finally managed to find that leak on the water. I'd ordered an oil cooler, but it's not coming till June, so I cancelled that. And I've given it a good wipe down and clean off. And touching wood, at this moment in time, it's not leaking anymore. There's no drips. I think what I was getting was a lot of condensation dropping into the engine bay. because it was quite cold and this boat's quite hot. So we sorted that out, and then I did the glow plugs because it's been a bugger starting her. She's like, it was 30 to 60 seconds of glow plug just to get her going, and then you'd crank her and crank her and crank her. It took forever to get her started. So I just put some new ones of them in, which took me about 2 or 3 hours to do it. It was quite a job, a bit fiddly and a bit awkward to get to as well. So I had to take all the injectors off individually so that I could get my spanner in to get the glow plug out. Nothing snapped and everything was clean inside. So
snapping.
Yeah, it was a big worry. I've heard if you take the thing out and it's snapped, you just crank the engine and eventually just pop them out. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true.
Don't know about that. If
I
they do
don't know about that either.
Nothing wrong with the thread in the head. You could do that.
Right.
But no.
Well, anyway, it come out quite. Man, they were fairly new, so.
Yeah. Sometimes it
like
takes
two
you
of them.
with the engine warm as well.
Yeah, I did it when it was cold, actually.
Yeah, you done well. Get them out.
They came out quite easy. They were fairly new. They looked like two of them, because the two at the front of the engine, they were quite dry and crusty, but the back two, they were wet.
That's not good.
So, but when I put them back in, yeah, and when I cleaned them out, there wasn't as much sludge on them. So I'm assuming those were the ones that were knackered.
Yeah.
But getting them back in was quite, because I got the stuff from Calcut Boats. 4 glow plugs were 40 quid.
Not bad.
But they also supply you with a 4.75 mil drill bit. So when I'd taken them out, I put that in and I put some grease on it, stuck it through and cleaned out all the port there. So they were dead easy to get back in then.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was. And now 15 seconds, boom, she starts. Yeah, and just a puff of white smoke, and then it just puffs a bit of smoke out for maybe a minute, 2 minutes, and then she clears up.
So you're still going down the road of putting a reconned engine in then, Saul, or do you think this has cured your problems?
It hasn't cured them because there's still oil leaking out somewhere. I think an oil seal's gone at the front. So, but there is other issues, because when I give it some beans, there's like a blue smoke. I'm burning oil, so.
Right.
I mean, I'm not as panicking about it now. After putting the new glow plugs in, I'm not in as big a panic. So I'll maybe try and get all the one towards late summer, and then if in the winter time we can get a spot on a marine day, I can drag boat out, engine out, new engine in, because I've got to clean it up as well, because bilge is just a bloody mess.
Have you ever had any work done on the engine at all?
Oh,
It could be just the valve guide's gone.
No, I've had fuel injection pumps done.
Yeah.
Lift pump was done.
Yeah.
It's had cylinder head reconned.
It has had the cylinder head done. And you put new valve guides.
Valve guides were done, everything. It's had new injectors, new glow plugs now. It's had 2 lift pumps actually, because the first one fell to bits on the River Link, which is another story. And the only I was going to put a new oil cooler on for my gearbox, but that's all right now. I'm just going to try and get the rubber bungs for like 50 quid each. It's ridiculous.
And did you ever find that there's a crankcase breather on it somewhere?
Do you know? I didn't know.
If that's blocked, that will give you what you've got.
Yeah.
Burning oil, because it can't get rid of the pressure in the crankcase, so it's got to get rid of the oil. If it's got a blocked breather, I think Jaguars are prone for that.
Right.
There's a gauze filter somewhere on the crankcase. If that gets blocked up, that will give you all your symptoms.
Right.
So that's usually like an hooked pipe that comes out outside the engine, isn't it, that, Jeff?
There is. There's 2 inspection plates.
If there's a gauze filter somewhere, I would check that, because that would give you all them problems you've got.
Right.
So
So
find out.
I'll get some new. If I get all of the gaskets and the new filter for it for the
We'll
crankcase
try
breather.
that with the engine in it,
Yeah.
because that will get you.
Yeah,
the same
pretty much installed a new engine. Yeah.
Unless you want to just throw money at it, just put another engine in it.
Well, if I do
Condemn
that,
the
I need
engine,
to
it ain't no good if just throwing it away. If it's something simple like block filter.
Yeah. Do you know, I never even thought.
Breather somewhere.
It has. It's got 2 inspection chambers, and one's the breather. And in the most awkward
Have a
spots.
good filter. I think you need to wash it out with paraffin or something, petrol. Wash it out, and then go from there. See if it improves it. I bet that does.
Right. Yeah, we'll give that a go. Yeah.
Right. Might give you another 12 months, 2 years yet.
Get us back onto main canal. We're going over the main canal next year with a bit of luck. So
Yeah, it'll be fine. Don't worry.
I might do it on the back of a truck though.
Sorry, keep going. That'll go forever.
Yeah.
You know, Saul, do you know when you had cylinder head refurbed? Were there much wear? When you took cylinder head off, were there much wear in pistons or in ports?
No, they look quite good because the cylinder head had been done probably about 4 years before. It'd been done before, and everything looked great inside. The one thing I regret not doing was Jeff said it was honing out the bores, just giving them a quick
glaze bus. You need a glaze bus. You put it on a drill, you pop it in, it springs out, and just go up and down the bores. It just takes the glaze off the bores. That's all.
Yeah, I wish I'd done that, but I didn't.
So if it's been ticking over a long time, that's what glazes the bores.
Yeah. Like Louise says, not about changing pace. Give it some beans.
Yeah,
that'll clear it out.
I'll give it a good rev. Give it a good thrashing. That'll help it. Clear the cobwebs out.
Because there was so much diesel and muck and gunk that was being forced out of the air filter. I'm wondering, you might be right.
Get you any money, it's that gauze filter, that breather's block.
Yeah.
Does it do it straight away or after you've been running for a while?
Pretty much straight away, yeah.
It's definitely worth checking that.
Yeah.
It's a fairly quick job and all. It should be fairly easy to get to.
No, it's not.
That's it.
I have to lay over the top of the engine and go underneath the expansion tank, and it's right at the back of the engine there. So I'll be upside down.
Those 2 plates, didn't they? I had it on our old boat.
If you think it's an easy job, Dave, you're welcome to have a go.
He would, but he wouldn't make it.
Maybe not. I know the BMC engine that we had originally in our boat, the breather would outside the engine and it was just a plate on side. It was really easy to get to.
It's on the other side of the engine, so it's on. You just got no room to get at it really. So you have to lie across the top of the engine and go over, and you're doing it all upside down, and not the funnest.
Worth doing, like.
Funnest job.
Now I hate working upside down, especially with glasses as well, because they always fall off. Don't they? You can't see, and you're trying to knock your glasses back on.
Yeah, and then sweat drips on them, and you saw everything's 3D.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put elastic bands around mine when I do it, just to keep them real tight, like goggles, so they don't fall off.
A mate of mine used to have prescription goggles made when he were working on his cars and stuff. So it stopped stuff dropping in his eyes and everything. He swore blind him.
Excellent.
It looked a bit.
I wonder if they do a +1.5. I wonder if they do like an off-the-shelf Reader's 1.5 strength goggles.
Maybe that's an idea for a new business, that, Glenn.
Yeah. I bet you won't be able to buy them in the UK though, and I'm certainly not buying them from Europe.
That's why I could never get on with bifocals, because when you're working on something and you want to look up or down, it's just impossible to work with them. Cannot get on with them.
Lisa's got something that's like that, and I must admit, when I tried to do something with them the other day, I had to borrow them and just trying to look at a menu in the pub, I think it was, and I was all over the place.
Can't get on with them at all. Rather be blind.
Yeah.
So that's all the engine work I've done. That was all I've done this month, and then next month, this month is going to be, hopefully when this weather clears up, painting myself. I'm on my roof, getting that painted up.
Give it a good.
You're going to do it outside?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's the paint on there's been coated with house paint and all sorts, so it's just gradually tearing itself off the roof. Basically, doesn't like moving back and forth. I think they've undercoated it, to be honest. They've put like house paint undercoat on, which doesn't like moving. So it's like when you've got radiators in a house, you never undercoat them first. You just put gloss on them.
So what paint are you using, Saul?
It's what I've got in the boat, which is the same stuff that's on there now, which I think is an house paint. It's just a house gloss. So I've got some primer. I'm going to prime up the bits and then give it a coat. And then I'm going to have to, at some point, get it in a shed and have it stripped right back, proper sandblasted, I think.
Proper job.
Ours could do with that. We tried to repaint ours about 4 years ago, and we stripped it all down. I did it like an idiot. I sanded it all down, the sides, the roof, both sides, and then we got one day to paint it, and it was red hot, and the paint were like going on like glue. It made a right mess of it. It's kept the rust off, but it just don't look very good. No. And that's the sort of like, I wish I'd have done it like Louise said, strip one side down, paint that, then the other side, paint that, and then the roof. But yeah, you learn by it.
You went all in, did you, Dave? You went all in.
All in, yeah. And the day we came to paint it, I think there's a photo of Louise on Facebook somewhere. We look like we'd sanded it all down. We look like Smurfs, blue Smurfs. We were covered in it. and the day we came to paint it, it were red hot. It were beating down. You couldn't sit on the roof of the boat. Louise were painting roof of the boat, and she were having to sit on a cushion because top of the boat was that hot. She couldn't sit on it. It were really not the weather for painting, but we got to get it done. So yeah, it went great. So, but the shop that I bought the paint from, it were an industrial paint shop, and they've got took over and closed down. So there's nowhere in Sheffield now that I can find that does like an industrial outdoor paint that you can have mixed to the colour that you want. These guys, Stokes Paints, they used to call them, they mix your colour up and it were proper outdoor industrial paint.
There's a place though near Manchester that we picked our paint up for Nutshell that does that stuff, and he can do it from, because we couldn't get the was it the red? There was an issue with the red. Red's a funny colour, and we sent him up a swatch of it or whatever it was. I can't remember. And I think we found a tin of it in the boat, and he copied it. And we went and collected it, and it's just outside Manchester somewhere. I'll find out who it is. I can't find them, but they're really, really good. That's all they do. Right? That's all they do. Yeah. But if you have it shipped to you, it's really expensive because the courier. Yeah, it's on a real back place. Real. I'll find it out for you. I'll send it. He was a really nice bloke as well. Really, really helpful. Absolutely loads and loads and loads. Could do whatever colour you wanted, mix it for you, whatever you want. Really, really helpful. I think we bought about 4 tins off of him because I just didn't want to have to go back again. So I bought like 2 pots too many. Yeah, so I see. Lou says you're driving past Manchester all the time. I'll dig it out. I'll dig it out.
Yeah. It's,
yeah. Is that driving around the tow truck?
I drive past most places.
Yeah.
Like Lou says there, we were actually on Google Maps the day they were taking photos. We were on boat at Attercliffe painting it. You can see it quite clearly on Google Maps.
I'm going to have a look at that later. I'm going to check that out.
So
yeah,
that you done, so
that's me done. Yeah.
No plan for cruising or anything, or is it all maintenance?
We're all cruising. We're always cruising. we got a letter out. Well, we got a bit of a nudge from the email saying, "Hey, you've not moved enough this month." So
we got one of them last year. Unfortunately, we were stuck behind a BMW that were in canal and a lock that was shut.
Yeah.
But we still got an email saying you haven't moved. A little bit difficult when there's a BMW in canal.
So we're gonna we keep cruising. I'm buying myself one of those little inflatable kayak things. Gonna do a bit on there. Yeah. So
you fancy a bit of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it a paddleboard?
No, I don't want one of them. Stood up forward.
Is it a 2-man kayak or you're having singles?
2-man.
2-man.
Yeah.
Well,
got to get the dogs in.
Make your other half sit in front. Make sure she does some paddling.
Yeah.
Dear. I got caught with that in on an holiday once. Louise was sat behind me, and she kept dabbing paddling water, making noises. And I'm thinking, this is how going. And I caught out back of my eyes. She just sat there going like
that.
Dear. Oh yeah, Louise has just put something on that we've been talking about today, and it's about diesel.
Do you know what? I said to the bloke at the marina, because I want to fill my boat up with red diesel. Do you know how much it was a litre? 165.
Yeah.
165 a litre for red diesel.
Horrendous. Yeah, horrendous.
I nearly fell off my chair.
I know we've been using, since we've been on Llangollen, we've been using the fuel boat on there. And I think he emailed Louise last week and said coal's going up and diesel's going up. I think he was charging £1.36 a litre. So I've been to local garage today, where when we were in Sheffield, I used to go to a local garage that sell red diesel. And I used to fill 2 plastic tubs up, about 40 litres. And, he was charging 80 odd pence a litre a couple of years ago. So when we got this email about prices going up, Louise says, can you go to the garage and find out how much he's selling it for? And you'll have to start ferrying it in again. So I called in this morning and he says, I can't sell it yet. You've got to have a permit. I says, what are you on about? He says, we're not allowed to sell diesel here unless you've got a permit, official permit. So he says, we ain't got any anyway. I noticed that pump were out of order. He says, we ain't got any. He says, but I can't sell it yet. If you're filling tubs up, I can't sell it yet. Now, I think, like Louise says, the sort of like regulations have changed on 1st of April. But as a narrowboater, you are allowed to buy it. But I think a lot of garages are a bit scared of getting pulled. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I use a garage and I know him well, so he's fine. Knows I got a boat and everything. So, and I pay 140 a litre at the minute.
for red diesel,
Yeah,
still loads of money, isn't it?
it is a lot of money.
Still,
80 odd p, like you say, it was only 80 odd p. So
yeah, I think we were paying like 75 last year before on the Grand Union, but yeah, it's no. Well, I don't think it's much point in. It's not much different from red to normal now, is it? Really, it's only a little bit. So yeah, it's like, and I can't still believe the difference between diesel and petrol. Like 20 pence.
Yeah.
Between
encouraging everybody to buy diesel cars a little while back, and now they just put the price up, and now it don't pay to have a diesel car.
Yeah.
I think Colin's right. A lot of places have run out of diesel. Last couple of times I've been into Morrison's, they've had no diesel or petrol, and couldn't get deliveries. The whole place has been shut down, and that's a supermarket like Morrison's. So it must be a bit grim for that to happen.
yeah.
So I'm assuming that boatyards are way down on list of priorities for deliveries of diesel.
Yeah. It's going to be fun again. So, well, I was actually talking to my son the other day about electric cars because he's got a little electric Corsa from work, and he was going to come over and he hadn't got a charger at home, and I said to him, why don't you get a charge from home for home? And he said to have a plug-in charger at his house, he said they cost £700 to have one. Plugs in the mains, and he said it's really expensive to charge the car. He said, with the energy bills going up and that, he said it would be really not a cheap. It obviously still cheaper than petrol or diesel, but it would put his home electricity bill up massively. So what he does, when he goes to work, plugs it in at work, and then just does it until it runs out, and then plugs it back in again. He said he can't. He couldn't afford. He don't want to be able to plug it in at home because he's going to end up paying FD electricity bill. So it must have been. We've been away this weekend, and I know the electricity went up while we were away. But they had a little monitor on today. Lisa was cooking dinner and we had the heaters on, and you could watch it going 78p, 79p, 80p. And it finished off at it finished off about £2.20 after we she'd done dinner and the radiators were both on and all that sort of thing because it's only electric here. But yeah, you could watch it click up. It's scary old times.
Yeah. There's a question on: do you think more people will be going over to lithium to save running the engine in winter? I don't think that's really an option, is it? Because you've still got even lithium batteries. You've got to charge them somehow, so you've got to run engine to charge your batteries, even though they may last longer. And I think they're very susceptible to cold weather, aren't they? Lithium batteries.
They they've got to run it. That's why they put them inside, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they tend to put them under the bed.
It's I don't know. Some boaters may overstay. Yeah, I think there's a problem with boaters overstaying now. I think price of diesel and that it'll just make that problem worse. But I mean, some people don't need them.
I think locking caps are going to be really important now as well.
Yeah. I've got one on mine. Have you got?
No. Neither our last, but Nutshell never had a locking cap. This one hasn't got this one's got like a proper. It looks a little bit like that, but it's a cap that screws on. It's like a big. that's actually a speaker, but it's like a big thing that goes on top. It's not like the little flat thing that goes in. So I don't know how I'm gonna do that. But
they do more damage. They still get into it. They want it. They just do more damage to your boat. Sometimes it's cheap just to let them have it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I suppose.
Plus,
Yeah.
you know, if you're parked up and they can't get in your cat, they just put a hole in the side of the diesel tank. So you're better off leaving the cap undone. Because the tank of the diesel, whatever it costs, and then you got the cost of the bloody tank as well. So it's just leave it
and the
low.
chances are they're not going to take the whole lot, are they? I think I read somewhere that someone had lost like quarter or half a tank or something. You know, because they're only what they can carry in containers, really, isn't it?
You've got a price of a bloody diesel tank as well. You think how much damage they do to try and get that out your boat if you weren't there. That won't stop them. They want it bad enough, they get it.
Yeah, it's true. It's going to be like Mad Max.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, come along with that, put a hole in the tank, and then put a pipe in and suck it out. That's the end of the story.
Yeah.
Everyone will eat dog food out of cans and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know much about electric car charging, so I don't know if smart meters can.
Yeah, but again, if enough people go over to electric, they'll have to start taxing somehow because they're going to lose some money on people that have come off petrol and diesel with the tax they get there. So they'll get it back some. You're never going to get away from it.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
They're going to call it back somewhere. It's like gas prices. You used to have a gas like your van. I bet the gas prices have gone up, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really cheap. 60p a litre or something, whatever it was. How much is it now?
79p in Lancaster.
Well, gas.
Yeah, LPG.
It was 90 something. I noticed on a pump the other day, 90 or quid, something like that.
They got to get it back.
But LPG is not really readily available as it was anyway, is it? It used to be every garage used to have an LPG pump, and then they don't seem to be there when they refurb them.
Yeah, our struggle now with filling van up is it's usually Morrison's that have LPG, and when I did that van bike last week, it was 76 pence a litre for LPG. So it's less than half price of petrol and diesel. But yeah, I have to plan. I have to plan where I'm going to fill it up because I was struggling a couple of months ago. Last summer it were. I went more or less full length M62 from sort of like east to west, and none of the service stations had LPG on the M62. I ended up running it on petrol, which went through me a little bit, but there you go.
That's because they'd heard you'd broken down, Dave, and they'd all given it up because you were the only one that used to go in there. We ain't seen Dave for ages. Where has he been? Got that LPG on the head.
Yeah. You see TV, you see, don't mention the war. Here it's don't mention the van.
Don't mention the van.
Yeah. No, I saw Louise put what van?
Yeah, what van?
What van?
Yeah, thanks, Louise. Yeah. I mean, getting back to boating, we've had a really busy month last month away from boat. We've done a couple of short ops. Not really had a chance to do any work on boat apart from this weekend where we just moved round corner and the engine overheated. Got an alarm up for engine overheating.
Boat?
And I can't believe this. And pulled over, and when we had at the beginning of the year, we had, if you remember, we had a Morse cable fitted.
Yeah.
Because the cable snapped. And when he refitted the new cable, there was a clip on the cable that held two of the coolant hoses that ran around the back of the engine up. and it stopped him rubbing on the coupling on the prop shaft.
Yeah.
And he hadn't put the clip back on. So I hadn't noticed it. So when we've been running, it's wore the hose away. And this weekend it eventually wore through and spilled all engine coolant into engine bay. So this was 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon. So I couldn't do anything. I taped it up, old-fashioned bodge, taped it up with insulation tape, and we were only going around corner, so it held to do that. And I had to go from where we were about 45 minutes drive into Nantwich to find a chandler that were open on Sunday, or anywhere that were open on Sunday that did hose. So I couldn't get the right size hose, so I ended up buying 2 spigots and a barrel nipple and cutting the bad section out and jointing it back up, which worked fairly well. So that was a little drama, but you know, I was kicking myself really. I should have checked, but there you go.
I bought some of that tape. You know, that tape they advertise that goes over pipes, and it's like really thick, and it sticks to pipes, and it stops like buckets leaking, and you can put it around the split hose, and it's quite thick stuff. It's quite, yeah, I don't know what it's called.
I've seen that. Some of that. They have a swimming pool with a cut in it, and they just stick it on the swimming pool or on these blowers.
I bought some of that.
I've seen it, but I've never seen it for sale anywhere.
No, not me.
I just got it off the bay. I just kept a roll of it in a nutshell, to be honest with you. I just kept it on the side. So if we ever had anything that was going to spill and was causing an issue, I was going to do what they said on the advert, just grab it and stick it on. Stick it on. Yeah. I thought I'd try it, but I never had to try it. I've still got it. So it'll go in the new boat just in case we have any of those sort of nightmares.
You're worried again, ain't you?
Oh, I'm always worrying, mate. Always thinking ahead, mate. Always thinking ahead.
Too much.
It will send me to an early grave, don't worry.
Well, there's a good question that come up there from Full Canal. I'm worried that boaters are going to get screwed over if a move to hybrid is forced. Not every boat can be converted, and it's not going to be cheap. It certainly ain't going to be cheap. And I don't think it's feasible. I don't think they can force people into hybrid engines.
No.
It'll be, I would imagine what it will be is if a boat built from a certain date onwards, it has to be certain, a bit like I think a lot of boats are going to end up having their multi-stove fuels not allowed. I think, there'll become a day like 2023 or whatever. From then on, every boat has to have a bubble stove or whatever, can't have a fossil fuel fire. And I think then you'll find that eventually, maybe in 2025, 2030, when the cars go over to all electric, in theory, the boats will have to be all electric. It's all right. It'll make the old market even more buoyant.
Yeah, I don't know. It's. I mean, we cruise a lot, and we see some old boats on cut all over the place that look neglected, and there's clearly people living on them, and that maybe old people or people down on the lock. I'd expect people like that to pay thousands and thousands to change to an hybrid system, and you've still got to put diesel in an hybrid anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only like having a travel sat on it, isn't it? It's you've got a diesel generator charging your electric motors. So
I've just seen what Dale's put up there. Dale's just answered that question. Basically, he's got a new boat build and it's picking up 2024, and he can only have a diesel filed stove, so he can't have a multi-stove. So that's answered that question, and I presume the electric question will be further down the road. Not, you know what I mean, a few years further down the road. Until the prices come down, though, I just don't, you know.
Well, it's a weight issue, though, isn't it? As well, all them batteries you got to stick in to keep it going.
Yeah, but the boat in, I mean, I don't know how it runs, but the community boat in Milton Keynes has got his electric batteries, and obviously it's just got to be done properly. The distribution of the weight has got to be put in properly, but it's got a proper set of batteries in there. And it is nice. You can't hear it. It's quiet as anything. But I mean, again, and when they need replacing, you'd want to insure those batteries, wouldn't you? You'd want to have some sort of cover on those batteries.
Yeah, it's not cheap, are they?
It'd be very cheap to change.
Yeah, I know. When we were first building our boat, we were looking at a diesel-powered heater on ours. I think it was called an Hurricane. And they you can hear them on boats, and they're like jet engines going. I think that's what Louise is asking there. Is your diesel fire stove, is that noisy like one of these Hurricane heaters, or I don't know much about
they all are. I don't think they all are. I think the bubble stove, I think is meant to be quite a good one that comes in them. But I think it might be. Might be, initially noisy to get it going while it comes round. But I mean, in nutshell, she had one in there, but never used it. It was so wrong with it. But it was more the fact that it had a traditional hot water pump. Like you have in an airing cupboard, pump the water around from it, which I would imagine that was bloody noisy. But I took all that out. So. And it wasn't the first time I'd seen that. I saw another one in another boat that we had that had a back boiler, had a 12-volt motor as well, which was pumping water around from the back boiler on the stove.
Yeah.
So, and I'd presume that would be noisy as well. But if anything that's got a pump, I suppose, around, it'd be like a bloody. No, I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but they must be getting better. They must be getting more efficient.
I don't know anybody that's got a diesel stove, so it's not something I've had any experience with myself or any of my friends. So,
we went to Crick and they were showing the diesel stoves going off. The fires and the stoves and thing. I don't think there was any noise. I don't think there was any, because it's gravity strip bed, isn't it? But the other ones that make noise will be them blow heaters, won't it?
Yeah.
They're the ones that sound like a jet engine.
Yeah.
Camper vans have them a lot.
Oh right, yeah. We used to have them in ours. Yeah, it's like a lorry heater, isn't it? A spatcher or a who's the other one that makes it? Two, isn't there? I can't think of the name of the other one.
You get used to it. You don't hear them. You just get used to it.
Yeah.
Like that's the other one. Yeah. I think the one we were looking at were called an Hurricane. I think it were sold by Calcut Boats. I think it were like they were sort of like
pushing them,
promoting it, trying to push it. But I watched a video of it, and it were like a jet engine. Like Louise says, I'll just put it up. How does that work when you can't run your engine after 8, but you've got a jet engine running in your engine bay that's an heater? How is that any different? And like Full Canal says, the neighbours can't have been happy.
Well, I think the dispatchers, though, not all of them. I mean, you can put enhanced baffles on them, can't you? On the dispatcher one.
When ours is running, but it ain't that loud.
No, I think it all depends. If you're right next to another boat, I mean, you're where you are, Jeff, it's no problem. I think when you're in a marina, if you haven't got some sort of baffle on it. We didn't have one on ours, but we were facing out towards. We weren't right next to it. Sometimes if someone had one next to us and they started up, you knew about it. But you can buy inline proper centre baffles, which make them really quiet. So that's a diesel one, obviously. So I think there are ways and means of making them better, a bit like a hospital silencer on a boat.
Kat, thanks for your comment. That's what tonight's all about. And Full Canals just put on Webasto better, but not like burning wood and coal. No.
That's the thing. You still need energy. You still need energy. You still need to, with Basto, or you still need your batteries to have some life in them. You still need all that sort of thing. Whereas you know what I mean? We've just put in, if you've got none of that and you're down, at least you can still heat the place up.
Find a bit of wood or something, burn old pallet or something, you can burn something.
You can burn, you'll find something to burn. Burn some books.
That's why you should never buy a house without a chimney.
Do what?
Never buy a house without a chimney.
Do you know what? If I was going to stay in this house, if I was going to stay in this little house, I would have a flue put up the outside. And a wood stove or multi stove put in here, because a multi stove in here would keep this whole house boiling. So anyway,
it's water.
It's what?
Chimney.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, definitely.
Do they still have smokeless zones in and around cities now? Or where you have to be careful what?
Milton Keynes was like that. Milton Keynes, where we were at, that we were only allowed to do smokeless coal. I mean, and no, we weren't allowed to burn wood at all.
You could see some of them chimneys at night. No one took an
I know. Yeah. When the lights went out, I think everyone was there with their wood. The stupid thing was, in the marina, you weren't allowed, but if you were on the cut just outside, no, there was no room. So, just the marina. It was one of the marina rules. An email or two about it. Yeah. Anyway, that's in the past.
That's in the past. Oh, we've been on for nearly an hour. We've gone around the houses and we've caught up with everybody. We've answered a few questions. I think we're going to wrap it up now. I'd like to thank you guys for joining me once again. I'd like to thank everybody for watching and commenting. Hopefully we've passed on a bit of wisdom and helped a few people out. Talked about a few controversial topics. And I would like to thank Jeff from Credit Check, Glenn from Narrowboat Tail, and Saul from Barely Floating. Thank you for your time, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure. And once again, good night to everybody. And we shall see you next month.
See you later.
Right.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.